down your baby and pick up a beer. Dad Jokes is back with a brand new episode. I'm Jerry, joined here by Mr. Banks, and you guys are listening to
Mr. Banks.
Mr. Banks, the first-time podcast between two first-time dads, going through the journey of fatherhood with all of you listening. And Brandon, you have a 1-year-old, and I am 1 day away from also having a 1-year-old, and that's kind of crazy for a lot of different reasons. But it's weird. It still hasn't really hit me. And then I came home from work today, and I saw her in her birthday pajamas that Macy bought specially for this day, of course, from Little Sleepies. And but yeah, it's kind of hitting me now. 1-year-old tomorrow. That's a little bit crazy. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that. But what's going on with you, boss?
Yeah. Well, first of all, happy birthday to Peyton, because when this episode drops, this is her birthday episode. And it's fitting because we're going to be talking about some things that she can potentially get for Christmas, or things we can do for Christmas. But true, it is crazy to think about. I'm telling you, you kind of brought it up, like thinking about like the last year or so. Bryce was, you remember the piano mat? And for those who've been listening from the beginning, you probably, in the very beginning, we had a bunch of mentions. Jerry and I both have this mat, and it has like that Purple Monkey song, and I haven't heard that song in quite a while. And then he's been in this mode lately where towards nighttime, when he gets a little tired, he's not whiny at all, but he gets like cuddly and like super chill. Like he goes from like moving nonstop to like, I feel like I'm like connecting with him almost. But he was in one of those moods, and he went over to his little area, and he hit the piano, and it's just that song started playing. I'm just looking at him, and what's crazy is he's standing up looking at the piano play. And I'm just thinking about like when I first started hearing that song, and he couldn't move, and he's laying on his stomach, and that song is playing, and that's all that you hear all day long. That was his first like favorite toy, and now I'm watching this kid standing up looking at this piano playing, getting similar levels of enjoyment out of it. He was just fascinated with it for a little while. But that legitimately, I like sat on the couch, I brought him over. I start singing the song to him without the piano. We kind of had a moment, and then let him go back about his business. But he just stood there or sat there and chilled with me, it was great. But I definitely got in my feelings tonight.
Got in your feels. Yeah, that's happened to me a couple times. We'll go over kind of what's been going on here and over there, but before we do that, we got to hit the folks with a dad joke. And Brandon, I did something here. This is probably the most dad thing we've done on this dad podcast. I recycled a dad joke last week, but the best part about it,
I was going to call you out.
Well, the best part about it is I didn't know and you didn't know in typical dad fashion, and it wasn't that long ago. So I recycled a joke. Yeah. No idea. You had no idea. We both laughed at it, and then, of course, in typical dad fashion, we got called out by the wives, and they kind of told everyone, or they told us that, you definitely had said that before. So, good job, me. So I'm gonna try to not do that again today. So I might lead off just because I'm nervous that I'm gonna do it again. But I'm gonna go ahead if you're ready, Brandon.
Well, good, because I got 2 jokes for today. One that I thought was funny, and one for Thanksgiving. So let's see if you get one of them.
Brandon, what do you call a cow with no legs?
Well, that's not one of mine, but I feel like I should be able to get this. A cow with no, as you phrased it, legs.
Legs.
Legs. Cow with no legs. Golly, what is it? I can't think.
Ground beef.
Oh my God, I should have got it.
That one made me chuckle.
Everyone. This is the thing. Everybody listening was probably yelling the answer at me in the car. Yeah. And yeah, I should have got that.
That one was clever, and I liked it. So, hopefully I haven't said that one before. If I have, I really don't remember. But, we're getting in this is like 60-something episodes. So we've done a lot of them. And we've had guests on the show. Yeah. So, there's a lot of jokes out there floating around. So, hopefully we don't do it again.
Now Jerry's willing to shoot a little bail to basically recycling a joke. But when Brandon does it a couple times.
You did it like back-to-back weeks.
He has to hear about it.
Yeah. I like it. So what else has been going on, Brandon? What have you guys been up to?
So it's been a pretty straightforward week. We did have a little bit of a scare to start the week off. It's been snowing. I guess not to start. It was midweek, but it's been snowing a little bit in Michigan. Got pretty cold. So while I was at work, Kelsey, the first day it kind of snowed and we're supposed to get just a little bit. She put some salt on the like the entranceway, just so nobody would slip coming on. She had to make sure that her FedEx and UPS drivers were safe and sound while they delivered package after package to our front door. And so one thing that did happen, though, I'm on my way home, and I call her as I'm on my way home, and she tells me, I just got off the phone with poison control. I was like, what? Why? Well, she walked into the house. She didn't have any salt on her. She didn't see anything get in the house. But she turned around. Bryce was at the front door, and there was one kernel of salt in his hand. It had snuck into the house like off her shoe. He looked at her. He looked at the salt, and he ate it. And it didn't just leave in his mouth. He swallowed it.
Oh, it's one of those no moments, and you don't get there in time.
So she was unsure of what that could do. Looked it up. Saw that it could be potentially not great, but more or less it's not great if a lot of it is ingested. So she talked to poison control. They asked how much. Basically, the little kernel that he had wasn't going to do anything. So they basically said, you're good. Watch him, make sure he doesn't vomit. If he does, call your doctor.
Let's be honest, Brandon. Our parents probably like fed that to us when we were younger.
Yeah,
it made you stronger. You know?
I said it to my.
You know, that's the funny part is you look back on stuff like that, and when you talk to your parents or the grandparents, and they're always like, that won't hurt nobody, that's fine, you know. And so most people survived, right? So I guess maybe there's some truth to it.
It's funny you said that, and that was a very good cover because I was in the middle of sneezing while you did that. So
yeah, you were.
Good job. Just a little behind baseball for everybody listening. Jerry just covered me sneezing. But I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, what's the difference in that and like table salt? I was like, there is a difference.
Does her cooking make more sense now?
but you also don't want them eating a lot of table salt either.
Exactly.
But
I don't want them.
You said, does her cooking make more sense?
Does her cooking make more sense? I don't know. She's probably a great cook. It's just kind of funny.
I don't mind my mom's cooking. My mom's pretty good.
There you go.
But in addition to that, he's walking like, I think the last time we talked, he was taking like 7 steps. Like the kid will walk completely around the house. Like it's night and day. He walks everywhere, and he's trying to repeat like everything that we're saying. He's kind of in that phase. He's not doing a very good job of it, but he's trying. You can tell like he's getting close. And then he's getting into everything he shouldn't get into. I finally put the cabinet locks up because it wasn't really an issue until about 2 weeks ago. I probably should have mentioned this on last episode. But put the cabinet locks on, and they are more annoying to us than anything else.
Yep.
Because we have magnetic locks. You get a couple keys with it that are magnets, and you just human nature. You kind of get used to things working the way you're used to. And the locks have been in for like 2 weeks, and I still every single night there's a there's a cabinet where the dishwasher detergent is, and it's my thing. I go through. I put the dishes in the dishwasher. And I go to reach for the cabinet just to finish the process, and I like basically cuss under my breath every single time. I'm like, golly, that's one of these days I'm gonna reach for the lock first, but it's just like that little half second of annoyance. And then for us and potentially probably you guys a little bit less, but you guys too, because I take Bryce to my parents' house every day. The transition from house to car with it being cold outside has been a little bit more annoying than it was last year because in the car seat he's in, you really can't. It was easy to bundle him up last year. Like he didn't really give much of a fuss. And you're not really supposed to put them in the car seat with coats. It's potentially like a suffocation hazard. So Kelsey did a bunch of research on it. And she actually did something for us that I'll mention in baby gear when we get to it a little bit later on in the episode. But how was you guys' week?
Yeah, our week's been interesting. Peyton was sick, as we heard in the last episode, and it seemed like she was getting better. And then the last few days, she's been very, very warm and kind of just not feeling well. And she's been more tired and just not 100% herself. She's not been like kind of the cranky sick, which is good, and not like coughing or sneezing and all that kind of stuff as much, but she's running a little bit of a fever, and she just seems to be tired. It was funny, I had some time with her, just me and her on Sunday, and she's been kind of going to almost one nap. She'll do two sometimes, but she took 2 long naps, slept in late, and then I'm like, okay, well, she's probably going to stay up pretty late, because she slept a lot today, and it was like 7 o'clock, and normally she doesn't go to bed to 8:30, and she was crawling into my lap and just trying to sleep. So, which is not like her at all. It was kind of nice as dad because she like literally just wanted to sleep on me, which was fun, and nice, and she was really cuddly and snuggly that day, but she's just been not feeling 100%. So even tonight, you could tell she's not feeling super great. So hopefully she gets over that quick. But she's been in a pretty good mood for being sick, because usually when she's sick, it's not fun. But she's actually been in a pretty decent mood. You can just tell she's kind of under the weather. She's definitely learning a lot. She's starting to pick up on things. You said Bryce is trying to repeat things. She's starting to like find cues. Like, so we talked about Bluey, and the song now, she like knows when they say something in the song. And I think she's trying to say what it is. I don't know, like mom, dad, but like she knows when it is. She also knows like when you say certain things to her, she's definitely picking up on it more. She does this new thing when you come into a room. She used to always say hi. Now she just screams. She just like sees you and screams and kind of laughs to herself. Like no matter when you just first come into a room, and she thinks it's the greatest thing. So that's pretty fun. And she's, like I said, she's walking along everything really, really well. And she can stand up by herself for quite a long time, but she just doesn't seem like she like wants to walk without support. I think she could, but she just, it's weird. She like doesn't have any interest. Most of the time when she's standing, I don't think she understands she's standing, to be honest with you. It's like I think she doesn't realize it, because the second that like she kind of does, she just kind of like goes, oh wait, I'm not supposed to do this, and falls down.
Yeah, I remember that.
But she'll be there, but the big thing is like, yeah, she's 1 tomorrow, which is crazy, and I took the day off work, so we're gonna spend some time with her. So me and mom are both gonna be home. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's why we couldn't meet up tomorrow.
Yes, because it's Peyton's birthday, so we're gonna do that. And Brandon, I'm gonna
Jerry was very impatient today at work. Trying to get
some stuff done, because I knew I was gonna be gone tomorrow.
For half the day.
Well, it's a weird week for me because, I'm gone Tuesday, and then I'm going to be gone Thursday we're all gone for Thanksgiving. So it's like I work Monday, I work Wednesday, I work Fridays. It's like a weird week.
You literally should have just taken Wednesday off too.
I know, but I didn't want to be that guy. I thought about it. But so we're going through that. But Brandon, really quick, it's funny. Yesterday, you were talking about getting in your feels, but yesterday for me, it was one of those days where, you think about things people tell you about being a dad, and you learn kind of as you are a dad. Some of it's true, some of it's more than true, some of it's overblown, but something that people tell you and you kind of expect, but like just it can't do justice until you're dad, is just the worrying. And when your kid's sick and you can't do anything, last night I grabbed Peyton because she was crying, and she was just warm, and I can feel she's hot, and I know she doesn't feel good. And it's just it's tough, because you just want to like make it go away, and you can't. So that part is tough for all the dads out there that, they are dealing with a sick kid or anything else. Like, and I know it doesn't get any better. There's different things that happen, but it's just that part's tough. At certain times I struggle with that, because you just want it to fix it, and you can't necessarily fix it, not quickly. So that's been tough, and that, coupled with her turning 1, which is just mind-blowing to me. I remember when we were doing this podcast and we both weren't dads yet. Our wives were both pregnant, and now, we both have 1-year-olds. And she's definitely full toddler now. It seems like it was just days ago she was still in my eyes like a baby, but now it's like no, she looks older, she's acting older, and it's just she's a toddler. She's not not really a baby.
It's crazy, and you catch yourself like just looking at them like I've asked myself this probably 50 times in the last month. It's like where did the baby go?
Right.
It really hit me at even though he was acting like a little baby at our friend's birthday party. Like I'm watching him like stand up next to these kids who I considered not babies. I consider these kids like older toddlers, and he's like very close in size or bigger than some of them. And it's or maybe not bigger, but very 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 close in size, and it's just like I'm way closer to him being like them than I feel like where we started.
Well, it's funny. I had a moment like that the other day. I remember when we went to Bryce's first birthday, and do you remember like I brought Peyton and I brought like some of her toys. She had that little toy turtle that like is like on wheels, and I remember Bryce liked it, and he was pushing it around and crawling with it and like kind of pushing it everywhere. And I remember thinking like, oh, that's funny because Peyton will like play with it, but she doesn't like play with it like hey, it's got wheels and it moves and I can push it. And the other day Peyton was literally playing with it, pushing it, chasing it, using it like you're supposed to basically. And I was like, man, I remember when Bryce was doing it, now she's doing it. I remember at the time thinking, man, Bryce looks so old, and now she's doing it, and it was Bryce's first birthday, so it's very similar timing.
It wasn't that long ago.
No, it's just this last, I will tell you, of all the stages, it seems like this last month or two has been the most fast paced. Like every day I feel like she's growing and things are changing, and it's hard to even like keep up with what she can do. And I mean, it's crazy. Like it really is. And she's just, I mean,
and I feel the exact same now, 2 months ahead of you.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna get any easier.
And I felt the same way 2 months ago.
Yeah, it is. It's been crazy.
I mean, I've watched him progress from a walking stage in the last basically week and a half more than I feel like the previous 2-3 months when I thought he was kind of starting to walk. But he went from taking basically a couple steps to taking like 7 steps to the kid will follow you, or you won't know where he's at. He's turning the corner walking towards you. It's like where'd you come from? I don't know. It's we're in our feelings this episode.
We are. So let's break it up. Let's go with some baby gear. You said you have some baby gear to go back to. What do you got to go over, Brandon?
So, and everybody kind of do your own research on this, but specific jackets or kind of common jackets are not recommended for like sit in the car seat going a drive. It's just a potential risk for your child because there's like a gap that a lot of your coats have, your bulkier coats, and the kid can potentially suffocate. So Kelsey did it. This is all Kelsey, but she did a ton of research on it. Got a Columbia down coat. It's called the toddler powder light hooded jacket. And it's a down material. And because of the way that it is made, the material compresses enough that it doesn't create the gap that something bulky would, but it still keeps them warm. Because that's the biggest thing right now, kind of transporting them. We got to make sure he has his socks on, he has a hat. But you like putting a coat on him is pointless because you're putting a coat on him to walk from the front door to your truck, and then it basically has to come off. In order to get it off and get him in the car seat, you would basically have to keep him in the cold for longer. So really what we do, make sure he has a hat on, make sure he has his socks on, and I kind of wrap him in a blanket and take him to the car. But that jacket is something that will help because you can keep him in it. Because the other thing is the blanket kind of does a similar thing. It is very awkward in the car seats we're putting them. And keep in mind, and I'm just thinking of this myself, but part of the reason it was so much easier last year is because we didn't have them in a convertible car seat. We had them in the car seats that you kind of have from birth that, in our case, pop right on the stroller, super easy.
Infant car
like
seat.
Your infant car seats. So that's what's making it a lot more awkward. I get to the truck and now I'm trying to get the cover off of him, which has him out in the cold for longer, which is like, is this really, what's the point of this? But then if I take them to my parents' house and don't have that cover, my mom will look at me crazy when I drop them off and be like, "Put that boy in the cover." And
You're coming at your mom this episode.
one-to-one
Can't cook
with her
and
voice.
that voice.
I didn't say she couldn't cook. I did not say she couldn't cook.
That's what I heard.
You alluded to that.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, my mom can cook. My mom can cook. So can my dad, actually. And I can't. So it's kind of weird. But that's definitely that's our piece of baby gear. It's something that'll make our lives a lot easier.
Well, Brandon, we go over baby gear here, and what we really should do, I'm starting to realize, is not just go over baby gear, but we should have a segment called either trash or gold. Like, and there's a piece of baby gear, and it's either trash or it's gold. And this piece of baby gear,
You're saying it. Listen, we can make that happen. I like that idea.
This piece of baby gear I'm about to go over goes into the trash category. And so Peyton's been sick, and I will admit this is my fault because we had like one of the thermometers when she was first born that like goes under the armpit, or you can do it a couple different ways, and it worked, but it was kind of annoying to use because babies don't like putting stuff under their armpit and stuff. So I was like, let's get one of those forehead thermometers. They're high rated. So we bought the Elera forehead thermometer. It's got 20,000 reviews, and everyone's like, it's great. That thing sucks. It's trash.
Well, you love a good review.
Oh my gosh, this thing, Brandon, I will literally, and I've done it like 100 times when she's been sick or not sick. You'll point it at her, and it'll say like 98.4. And then you'll do the same spot, hit it again, it'll be like 102.5. It's like, what? And then I'll do it to myself, and it'll do the same thing. So, like, and it won't vary by, like, a degree or half a degree. It literally will go from 98 to, like, 102 or 103. So where you're like, okay, that's actually kind of a big deal, but I don't know if it's legit or not. And it's every time. Macy stopped using it a while ago. I was like determined to like figure out like if there was a good spot.
Well, Macy's a pediatric nurse. She should be able to just touch her with her finger.
Don't say that. She got mad because I said that today. She's not. She's in the NICU now, so she's no longer a pediatric nurse because she's in the NICU. So I can't say that because I said that today.
Even better.
I agree. So, anyways,
don't they teach that in nursing school? Like, can't she like lick the tip of her finger and put it on Peyton's forehead?
I
and
don't
be like,
know what.
99.4.
I don't know. We were giving her Tylenol, and I was like, "What's the dosage?" And she's like, "I don't know. Where's that sheet at?" I'm like, "You're a pediatric nurse," and she's like, "No, I'm not any longer." And she got mad at me. That just happened like 20 minutes before we recorded.
Oh, she's gonna love hearing this.
Exactly. She got all mad at me.
I mean, we have a forehead thermometer.
Trash.
It works pretty well. I think it's by Baby Frida. But ours also has the tip pulls off really easily. It turns into a ear thermometer as well. So that's kind of the check and balance.
I'm curious, like if I use that on Peyton, like if it would, because this thing, you'd laugh.
Maybe
it's
Peyton just
funny.
has like a hot spot on her head.
It worked on me the same way, though. If I do it to myself, it does the same thing. It's hereditary. Yeah. It just runs in the family. It's crazy. I don't know. So anyways, that's my trash piece of baby gear for the week. But yeah, Brandon.
Well, I can say the Baby Frida's work pretty well for us.
Well, we might have to go that route because I'm over this one. It's literally going in the trash.
Maybe I'll bring it to Peyton's birthday party and we'll see if she has like the same hot spot.
But not trash and hopefully gold. Our episode today, what we want to talk about, because it is about to be Thanksgiving. Which Thanksgiving, let's just spend a second on that actually, Brandon, because you can't really do a ton of an episode about Thanksgiving. But Thanksgiving is a great dad holiday. This is my opinion.
Thanksgiving is so overrated.
No, it's a dad holiday. You literally get a day off during the week.
Agree on anything.
You got football. You got food. You got a family. You get to sit on the couch and watch sports while you get to eat and have dessert. And it's great. I love it. And you know what else is
Jerry,
also Thanksgiving week?
I would say Thanksgiving is probably the Aiden Hutchinson of holidays.
Oh, here we go.
It looks good. It looks good on paper.
Speaking of Aiden Hutchinson, that's another reason Thanksgiving is good.
When you actually experience it, is it really that great?
That's another reason Thanksgiving is good, because it's always Michigan-Ohio State week, and that is this week, and I'm hyped for it, and I'm not trying to jinx us, but since Peyton's been born,
that's called a segue.
Since Peyton has been born, Michigan has not lost a regular season game. So, just
Bryce
saying.
was born first. Did
they lose?
It was Bryce's fault.
Huh?
Oh, a regular season game is what you said.
I'm saying they have not lost a regular season game since Peyton was born. Her first game was the Michigan-Ohio State game last year.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
We got it again, so I'm excited for that. But Thanksgiving's great. But anyways, back to the topic. We're going to talk about good ideas for Christmas gifts for your kids. Because with Black Friday coming up and the holiday season, it's probably about that time to start looking at ideas for kids. And it was kind of funny, Brandon. We'll share with everyone listening. So when we talked about this idea, in my head, I'm thinking like, hey, let's talk about generalities, things that, ideas you can go from, how you can find out how to get good gifts, all these different like kind of general ideas. And you thought of some very specific gifts. So we have a little bit different information.
I got specific
good.
gifts, and after you listen to it, we got sales that you can go take advantage of right now. And really, for me, it's a shout out to Kelsey, because it was like this was the episode she was ready for. She ran me down a complete list that we talked about, and all kudos go to her for what I'm about to talk about.
I like it. Well, let's start there. Let's give me a couple. Give me a couple on the list that people can.
Let's start off
with
the
kids.
Sales.
Okay, let's start off with the sales.
Just in case, we want you to listen to the end of the episode, but just in case you got to leave early, there are a few things that you want to take advantage of. So, Happiest Baby, who sells the snoo, which is a very, very expensive bassinet.
Very,
very expensive. It has a 40% off the entire site, including the snoo. So if you are on the fence like I was in the middle of not being able to sleep at one point, and I was like, am I really about to spend upwards of $1,200?
You were close. You were close.
I was tired. I was not thinking clearly, and I was just about to American.
I told you don't do that.
Swiped.
I told you don't do that.
3% back. That's what I was thinking. I'll start doing the math on the cash back. But that's 40% off. Newton mattress, which is a mattress that Bryce has, they'll sell you on the fact that it's breathable, yada, yada, yada. It's also fairly expensive, but it can be less expensive because they're 20% off site-wide right now. Baby Leto, who we have a crib through, has a tiered discount anywhere from 15 to 25% off, depending on how much you spend, starting at about $500. Last few, For Moms. We have their pack and play. They also sell the Mamaroo. They are up to 30% off. They're 30% off right now. The Breeze Play Yard, which we have, and the Mamaroo, with code, listen carefully, BFCM22. That's code BFCM22. Last two, Nanit, is 30% off site-wide. And then Little Sleepies. I hope Macy's listening to this or is already taking advantage of it.
She's already bought them all before the sale came out.
Turn up 30% off their whole site right now. So happy birthday to Peyton.
And for the dads out there, I'll give this one out to the dads out there. For the dads out there, you know who's got a big sale, Brandon? Sonos. If you need some sound equipment for your house, Sonos has got a sale coming up.
Hey.
So Brandon's got some, I got some. It's some good sound equipment. I'm talking like home entertainment sound equipment, you know.
And they never go on sales like this.
Correct.
So
They're like
the best deal is at Costco right now if you have a Costco membership, but Best Buy is also has a really significant discount.
Yes, so that's a good tip for the dads.
Jerry.
Yes, exactly.
Jerry needs to upgrade as well.
Jerry's upgrading his whole house, so he ain't upgrading no
exactly, Jerry.
We'll see when we get in there.
Just put the Sonos in escrow.
But talking about gifts, Brandon, one thing that I am a fan of asking for, or getting for your kids, or if other people like, sometimes when you're talking about Christmas, it's not just what you can get for your kids, but what you can ask other people for. Because people all the time, I don't know about you, Brandon, but people are like, "What does Peyton need? What does Peyton like? What do you want for Peyton?" You know, because they're gonna buy her Christmas gifts or her birthday's, tomorrow. So I've had a lot of people like text me or call me and say, "Hey, what should I get for Peyton?" And one thing that is kind of cool is if you have any kind of like subscriptions or yearly passes to places that you like to go. So if it's the zoo, if it's a museum, if it's a park, different types of passes where you can take the baby and have those good times, that's good to ask for. So I know, for example, like the zoo is something that we wanna ask for. And then like in Michigan, there's like Henry Ford Museum in Greenfield Village. That's another place when she gets older, maybe we'll ask for things like that. But that's kind of fun because you're asking for a gift, but it's a gift that like you can go do things. And especially if it's from certain people, they can even go with you depending on what it's for. So I like those types of gifts, Brandon.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the zoo is what jumps out to me. A lot of times having the season pass there, you have your grandparents. Maybe that's what you ask them to get, and like you said, you make that a trip that you guys plan maybe twice over a summer and fall. That's something that's great. And even something that I've been doing, people ask me what I might want for Christmas, and truthfully, if I want it, I either am buying it when I want it, or I save up my little pennies and buy it at a specific time. So I've been just asking people to get stuff for Bryce instead of me.
Okay. What else is on this great list that Kelsey and you concocted?
So we're going to start off. This is something that's already been purchased for Bryce for Christmas, but he is, and you probably noticed this with Peyton too, super interested whenever mom or dad is in the kitchen, primarily mom. His dad is no good in the kitchen unless he's cleaning. But it's called the Guidecraft Classic Kitchen Helper Stool. It's also called a learning tower. But basically, it's a kind of a how would I describe this? It's a foldable like platform on wheels. It has some designs on it. It's soft inside, but it gets the kid at like the if you have like a countertop or an island, it gets them at that level in a spot where they can't just like jump off or crawl off. It's on a platform, but it lets them kind of see what mom's doing and help participate. You control where they are, but instead of them being on the ground or potentially just putting them on the countertop, it's something that will allow them to participate. And it comes with like a chalkboard, whiteboard, message board, so they have things to do while they're in there and watching. And right now it's on sale, $30 off. It's
okay, speaking of kitchens, actually something that we have purchased that
is a new kitchen.
No, well, yeah, that's true too. but like the little play kitchens for kids, it's something that is kind of cute. But I will tell you, having lots of nieces and nephews, kids love that, and I don't know why. It's weird, but they love those little play kitchens with like the stoves and the fridge and the whole 9 yards. Nowadays, they're a lot more savvy than they were when we were kids. They were like cardboard when we were kids, but kids love to play with them. My mom has one at her house, and every time I'm there, all the kids that's where they gravitate towards is a little play kitchen.
It's funny you mentioned that because that's number 3 on the list.
Let's hear it.
Kelsey helped build. It's the IKEA specifically play kitchen, $99.99. Cool things, the burners light up, make it look like you can control them individually to make it look
not
like
real fire. I hope
they're on or off. Not real fire. And if this were a type of stove, it would be electric, not gas burning. But it does not get hot. A couple other cool things with it. It is modern looking, but at $99.99, pretty affordable. There's a Pottery Barn version that looks very similar to this. That's actually $500. So the IKEA
shocker,
Jeep, if you will, is something I would go with. And you can actually rig it for water to come out the water faucet. But this thing is it has a microwave, a faucet, cabinets, a stove, and an oven. And it's actually pretty cool looking. So that is potentially on the list. But the other thing you got to think about with all these gifts is space. Where the heck are we gonna put this stuff?
Grandma's house.
You made the decision to buy more space. I'm gonna stay in the space I got now, but Bryce is slowly but surely infringing on the man cave.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. That's
corner.
Exactly. You just gotta have the TV and then just be able to lay down somewhere.
TV, couch, and video games that you don't have time to play.
Yeah, 100%. No, but that's something that I know that Macy's big on. Another idea, Brandon, more like I said, generality is Christmas is obviously in the winter, and if you're in like a northern state, winter can be cold, and a lot of times people will buy gifts for your kids that are related to the season. So they'll buy like coats, so they'll buy boots, they'll buy winter type stuff for the kids. So a good thing maybe to ask for or even buy them is actually stuff for the summer, so that you have those gifts in the summer. So when it is nice outside, you can have those activities and those things to do outside, because there's no major holiday in the summer. So that allows you to get those gifts and not have to spend the money on that types of stuff if you buy that, even though it is winter time. So my sister's done that a lot. If it's winter, ask for summer stuff. And then honestly, if you have like a summer birthday, sometimes ask for winter stuff too, because then you get both. So it doesn't pigeonhole you into just getting only winter stuff. So something to keep in mind. If you're living down south, it probably doesn't affect you as much. But us here in Michigan today, it was very, very cold out. I was outside a decent amount, more than I'd like to have been today. So, I know that we bought a couple things for Peyton's birthday that are summer related, because again, she's going to have stuff and need stuff to play with when summer comes around.
Yeah, and maybe next time you have a kid, you just plan on having their birthday around summertime. Then you can get the best of both worlds: a summer birthday and Christmas.
I'll get right on that.
Better planning next time, Jerry. Clock's ticking. You pretty much got to start right now. Next for us would be this thing. Kelsey was at Sam's the other day, and she actually FaceTimed me first. I didn't answer. She sent me a picture, and I want you to think, Jerry, of nugget couch, but a chair,
nugget
with
chair,
a slide.
Nugget
Basically,
chair slide.
but this isn't nugget. So Sam's, AKA, and they have a brand called Members Mark. They sell probably the next most popular nugget type couch. It's Members Mark. It's basically a dupe with a nugget, but it's like $40 less. We talked about it in a previous episode, but same concept. But they have it's called the Jumbo Kids Explorer 2-in-1 slide chair. And recently, I saw this thing and I told Kelsey, "Ain't no way we spending the money on this." But recently, we had Bryce at that play yard for Jace's birthday, and I may or may not. So this basically is an activity type place. They have a section for like older kids, section for toddlers. It has like slides. It's like a giant play place. If you like have them, think like Chuck E. Cheese, Discovery Zone, places like that. Side note: did they have a Discovery Zone by you, Jerry?
No.
Were you?
I don't know what that is.
Oh man. Okay, then that might not be something that registers for people. For us, like Jeepers would be like the next.
Okay,
like,
Jeepers. They had that.
But so basically, think of a giant like play place for kids. But Bryce was having a fairly good time in the play place, and then we got to like the slide part, and I think I told this last week, but I'm a little hefty. I did not think I was gonna make it down that slide. So I sent him down to his mom, who was at the bottom of the slide by himself. I think I scarred him for slides for life. He was not feeling it, did not want to get up. I pretty much ruined his entire visit, I think. And then we tried to get him to do it again, thinking it was just he didn't love the slide. So that was a dad mistake on my end. But this thing having a slide, I'm thinking maybe I can make up for the terror that I caused him. So
well, I love the fact
that might be on the list.
I love the fact that you said hefty, because I literally called Peyton hefty the other day. It makes me got mad. I was like, man, you looking hefty today, because she was all like, her belly was like hanging out of her shirt, and she was just being kind of funny. And kids are cute when they look a little chunky, and she's starting to get a little bit like chunkier, and so I called her hefty, and it was just funny because it's just
you
random.
Also kind of want her to be chunky.
Yeah, you do.
That's
exactly.
You guys
100%.
were worried about to a degree in the beginning.
100%. It's a good thing. So it was a good thing. Kind of to keep on my like subscription idea. Another thing too, not just going places, but also actual subscriptions is a good thing to ask for. We've mentioned Love Every number of times on here. If you don't necessarily want to spend, it's a good thing to ask for those subscriptions. Also, there's a lot of like book subscriptions you can get too, where they'll send you basically like a little book club for kids, and you can get those. If you're talking about just for yourself, picture subscriptions, or there's like keepsakes, things to help you remember what's going on in your kid's life at that point in time. Different apps on your phone, like the Nanit subscription. So there's a lot of different things that being a parent in today's society either is made easier or is just nice to have different types of subscriptions, but they can get expensive quickly. So asking for them is not a bad idea. Another one, just throwing it out there, Disney Plus, something like that. So if someone's willing to do that, or even as a gift for someone, that's not a bad idea either, all of those.
Yeah, and that's also a good gift that maybe if you have multiple siblings, those can get a little bit expensive, but that's a pretty easily splittable gift. I guess everything technically is. But that's something that more than one person can go in on. One thing you hit on that isn't on my list, but it made me think about it. You mentioned pictures in general, but maybe you have a go-to photographer. That may be an idea to throw out there to someone as well. You can let them know who your favorite photographer is, and maybe they set up to pay for future photos down the line as well.
That's a good point.
For us, a couple things that aren't necessarily as big ticket. This is something that Kelsey recently bought for him. It's the Batat 3-car garage. And kind of the point of this, it's a shape sorting toy garage. It has keys, three toy cars. But the point of this is to kind of teach them open and close, and they can learn about colors as well. But it does a really good job. The car goes into the garage, you close the garage door, you open the garage door. You can do this with a variety of different types of toys, but this is just a fun way to do it. The keys up top kind of allow the garage door to be open or closed, so it's a fun interactive way of showing them a few different tools. But that's a cool gift, and it's only $16.95 right now.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Anytime you get something under $20, that's a win. Another thing too, we talked about in the past, Brandon, Montessori theory. Montessori toys are really popular nowadays. Learning toys, things like that. They also kind of are aesthetically pleasing if you are going to have them around the house. Those are always good to ask for, and sometimes you can get those for $20 all the way up to in the hundreds if you want to get crazy. But those types of toys are not just, fun, but oftentimes incorporate like learning skills and growth. So that those are kind of fun to buy too. You can get them on Amazon or from a number of different websites, so it's not hard to find any of those. I know we have a few for Peyton for sure.
Yeah, and if you want to get really kind of into the Montessori theory, Etsy does a really good job as well of having like some almost homemade looking Montessori toys. The quality seems to be pretty good on them. Comparing them to Amazon, just depending on what you're looking at, you may spend a little bit more, but the quality might be better. That's another reason that we keep hitting on it, but why I love Every. Those toys just seem to last. They always have a point, and they seem to be things that Bryce gravitates towards. I got a couple more for us. One is something that's grown in popularity. Jerry, have you heard of the StoryPod?
I don't know. It doesn't sound familiar.
So it's kind of like a speaker for kids, but they can put little either like toys on top.
Oh, I had. On top. Yes. Yep. Macy showed me that. Yeah.
Yep. It kind of grows with the kid. You can read them stories. It does different things, but it's their speaker, and it goes all the way up, basically from newborn to the age of 6. And you kind of buy. The price on it is $90. That's $89.99. Jerry's in the background in the video, kind of.
That's why I remember it, because Macy was like, "Hey, we should get these," and I was like, "What? What do these toys do for this price?"
I actually think the initial cost isn't that bad.
It's grown on me.
Where they get you is the things that you have to buy to continue to get it to work and grow with your kid, because those things, they definitely start adding up piece by piece. But that's something that's really popular right now, and a different way to kind of tell stories with your kids. And then on the less expensive side, we actually just bought Bryce some jumbo crayons. They're the Lebze, Lebze jumbo crayons for toddlers on Amazon. under $15. You're looking at $14.90 right now. Trying to start to introduce coloring to him so he kind of gets where he's going. For whatever reason, I cannot. I'm going to get over this. Coloring outside of lines bothers me. It always has. It drives me absolutely insane. I'm sure I'm not going to care that much, but historically, that's been like one of those things. It's just like an itch I cannot scratch. Like it's like I can't look at this, and I know it's going to happen. But that's coming with Bryce. So that's another gift idea under $15.
Well, they also make those markers that only draw on the specific paper, and that's really nice if you have like good flooring or So we actually have some of those for Peyton. That's good. The last thing I'll bring up, Brandon, this is kind of something
Peyton about to draw on your all over your new house. That house got white all inside.
I'm out.
Dude, what I'm waiting for is Bryce. I have some fairly expensive televisions in my house.
Oh,
and Bryce has a arm and loves to throw, and he has a decent arm. That boy gonna throw something hard at my TV.
Dad's gonna lose it,
and I don't know how to stop it. I know it's gonna happen. So if anybody has any ideas, send them to me.
I like it. My last one, Brandon, is kind of something that I know some people think's taboo. Some people kind of want to stay away from it, but it's just an idea. If you do have any kind of account set up for your kid for college or for schooling, and you have maybe people that you don't want a bunch of gifts because you don't have the space for them, or they have a million toys already, but people are like insisting on getting something for them, maybe just give them something for their account, for their college account, a little bit of cash. Which again, if you don't feel comfortable asking for it, I get it. I don't, but I also know people just give us money for Peyton's future education. They just do it. Like I've never asked for it, but it just happens. So it's nice. I mean, I won't lie. Sometimes that's good. You just put it right in their account, and they're going to have it at a later date. So that is another thing too that you can do. Especially if there's like certain individuals that won't care, and it will probably be easier for them than trying to find some kind of gift that you may or may not want. So that's kind of my last piece of possible advice or ideas, if you will. But I think that's a pretty good list, Brandon.
Yeah, it's a great list. Along the lines that you just said, the other thing you could do is you go to treasurydirect.gov, buy savings bonds if they feel more comfortable doing that potentially.
That's
they
true.
Can put it right in the kids' names. They can cash them when they turn 18, or put them in you guys' name, and it collects a little bit of interest.
Yep, that's true. I had some of those growing up, so that's definitely another idea as well. But it's the holiday season. It is a good time to start looking if you're looking to buy, because Black Friday's a good time to buy. And, we also didn't mention wagons, but wagons are probably going to be going on sale too. If you are looking for one, might be the best time. I know, Brandon, but we both know that's probably going to pop up. So keep that in mind.
I ain't spending the money on a wagon right now after all these gift ideas Kelsey just gave me.
I know, right? But it is exciting. But let's, Brandon, let's not get to Christmas just yet. Let's enjoy our Thursday, watching some football. Our Lions have won 3 in a row. Let's just calm down. I know Aiden Hutchinson only has 2 picks and leads every rookie and every statistical stat he possibly can. Yeah, he's not good enough for you, but hopefully he does something against the Bills Mafia to show you that he's worthy. But if nothing else...
It's a conversation for a different day, which we actually was a conversation for yesterday because that's when we had it.
It was.
He is a good player. I'm not gonna do too much talking about Aiden. You know where I stand on it.
Hopefully he sacks Josh Allen and helps turn your mind because
that'd
be a big win. That would be a big win.
I'm not rooting against the guy. I'm not rooting against him. We're not gonna get into that right now. Let's not bore the people with my take that is correct and you guys are all wrong. But,
I like it.
The crazy thing is, you're talking about Thanksgiving and a Thanksgiving Day on Thursday. Last Thanksgiving, my family told me to stop telling Thanksgiving jokes. Oh. But I couldn't quit cold turkey.
Oh. I like it.
So that was a Thanksgiving joke. Now I'm going to cheat and give you one more.
Okay.
So Jerry, what's blue and not very heavy?
I feel like it's one we've done. I'm not sure.
What?
I don't know.
I don't think this is one we've done. What's your guess?
I don't know.
Light blue.
We have done that.
Did we?
Yes, we have. Yes, because I'm like, there's something with it. I'm almost positive I've done that one.
It had to be you because I definitely didn't do it. I was sitting there cracking up at this joke.
I thought it was funny.
And I probably didn't give
It's
you
been
any
a
credit
while.
when you said it.
Yes, we are totally dad joking.
Kelsey
in the Dad
looked at me
Jokes
when I
podcast.
told her. She was like, one of those two jokes somebody probably said already.
Yeah, the first one, no, for
turn
sure. But that one, I definitely have done before. That's funny. That's great. Who's going to be the first one to do one for the third time?
I need confirmation of this.
Oh, we'll have to find out what episode it is. That's great. But Brandon, next week we're gonna have an interesting episode next week. I mean, we're gonna have Peyton's first birthday to talk about, a couple big football games to talk about, Peyton's birthday party to talk about, and everything else that's gonna happen in the world. So it's gonna be exciting, But if you haven't already, like us on social media, tell your friends about us. Get the word out there, whether you're expecting a kid, whether you got 7 of them, it doesn't matter. We're here for everyone, moms, dads. We appreciate each and every one of you who listens. But until next time, I'm Jerry, joined here as always by Brandon, and you've been listening to Dad Jokes.